Canada is often described as a mosaic, a country where every piece has its own color, texture, and story, yet all of them come together to form one beautiful picture. When you travel across this vast land, you quickly realize that Canadian culture isn't just one thing. It's a combination of Indigenous heritage, European influences, immigrant traditions, and the spirit of the landscapes themselves. Today, on Canadian Village, we're taking you on a journey into the heart of local culture and traditions that shape everyday life across the country, from coast to coast. The story of Canada begins with the First Peoples, Indigenous communities whose traditions date back thousands of years. Their connection to the land runs deep. In many regions, you'll still find powwows, gatherings filled with rhythmic drumming, vibrant regalia, and dances that honor ancestors and the natural world. These events aren't just performances, they are living expressions of identity, spirituality, and community. The Inuit in the Arctic tell stories through throat singing, a hypnotic vocal art shared primarily between women, while the Métis keep alive the fast-paced jig, a dance born from the blending of Indigenous and European cultures. These traditions continue to be celebrated proudly, and anyone traveling through Canada can feel their significance in the air. As European settlers arrived, French and British customs blended into the cultural fabric. In Quebec, you immediately feel the heartbeat of Francophone culture, language, music, cuisine, and celebrations that feel both European and uniquely Canadian. Walk through Old Quebec City and you'll hear the sound of French folk songs and smell the warm aroma of sugar pie and tourtière, a traditional meat pie that has been enjoyed for generations. Every winter, Quebecers embrace the cold with Carnival de Quebec, a festival filled with snow sculptures, parades, and the iconic Bonhomme Carnival. Instead of hiding from the weather, people celebrate it with joy, proving that winter here is not just a season, it's a part of the culture. English-Canadian traditions took root as well, especially in the Maritimes and Central provinces. In places like Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, Celtic culture remained strong. Fiddling, step dancing, and lively kitchen parties, where friends and neighbors gather to share music, are still popular today. In Newfoundland and Labrador, communities hold mummering events, where people dress in quirky disguises and visit homes during the holidays, singing, laughing, and spreading cheer. These customs may seem old-fashioned, but to the local people, they're treasured pieces of history. One of the most remarkable things about Canada is how seamlessly different cultures live side by side. The country has welcomed immigrants from around the world for decades, and each community has added its own traditions to the mix. In cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal, it's normal to see celebrations from many different cultures happening throughout the year. Chinese New Year parades fill the streets with bright dragon dances. South Asian communities light up neighborhoods during Diwali. Caribbean festivals bring the sound of drums and colorful costumes to summer streets. These traditions aren't limited to specific groups. Canadians of all backgrounds enjoy joining in, learning, and celebrating together. This openness is a key part of what makes Canada's cultural identity so unique. Food is another window into Canadian culture, and it tells the story better than words. From the hearty bannock made by Indigenous communities to poutine enjoyed across Quebec, from salmon smoked on cedar planks on the west coast to butter tarts baked in Ontario, each region adds something distinctly its own. In Alberta, the ranching tradition is celebrated at events like the Calgary Stampede, where rodeos, barbecues, and cowboy culture come alive. In the prairies, Ukrainian influences are strong. You'll find pierogies, cabbage rolls, and vibrant folk dances that have been passed down through generations. Meanwhile, the coastal provinces boast seafood traditions that include lobster boils, cod fishing stories, and fresh mussels served right by the ocean. Nature also plays a powerful role in shaping Canadian traditions. Because the country is so vast, local lifestyles are often connected to the environment. In northern communities, ice fishing, dog sledding, and hunting remain important traditions. On the west coast, people celebrate salmon runs with festivals that honor the fish that Indigenous communities have relied on for centuries. And of course, winter introduces its own culture. Skating on frozen lakes, skiing down mountain slopes, and building snow forts are rites of passage for many Canadians. Even something as simple as sharing hot chocolate after a cold day becomes a cultural moment, a reminder that Canadian traditions often come from everyday experiences. Sports hold a special place in the heart of the country, with ice hockey standing as the most iconic. For many Canadians, hockey isn't just a game, it's a tradition passed down from parents to children, played on frozen ponds and watched together in living rooms. Lacrosse, originally a sacred Indigenous sport, is also a national treasure that reflects the country's deep roots. Whether it's cheering for a local team, joining a community league, or watching national championships, sports bring people together in powerful ways. But what truly defines Canadian culture beyond traditions and celebrations is a sense of community. In small towns and big cities alike, people come together for local markets, volunteer events, and neighborhood gatherings. Farmers' markets are not just places to buy food, they are meeting points where artisans share their crafts and farmers talk proudly about their harvest. Community centers host cultural nights, storytelling events, and workshops that keep local traditions alive. Even simple acts of kindness, holding the door, offering help, or greeting strangers with a smile, are part of the everyday culture that visitors quickly notice. Canada's traditions continue to evolve. Young Indigenous artists are blending traditional stories with modern art forms. New immigrant communities are introducing celebrations that become part of local calendars. Festivals grow, music changes, and food trends adapt, but the core values remain the same: respect, diversity, and a deep appreciation for history and community. As our journey through Canada's local culture and traditions comes to an end, one thing becomes clear: Canada is a place where old and new live together harmoniously. It is a land where ancient Indigenous practices stand proudly alongside modern multicultural celebrations. It is a place where people embrace their differences and share their customs openly. Whether you're tasting traditional foods, joining a festival, learning an Indigenous dance, or simply talking to locals, you'll feel the richness of a culture that is welcoming, layered, and alive. This is Canada, beautiful, diverse, and full of stories waiting to be explored. And here on Canadian Village, we'll continue bringing you closer to the heart of this incredible country, one tradition at a time.